Hello. I wanted to talk about how to see meaning in the cards and the way I teach, and it works out very well. I know a lot of readers that learn from me that are reading pro now that still use it, and you can't go wrong with it. So I do talk a lot about that on my other YouTubes, but I thought I would make one just on this here. One thing I wanted to mention right off the bat was that the deck if you know how to read, it really makes no difference what deck you're using. As long as you're familiar with the deck in a basic way, it works just as well as any deck. Now you have preferences. Maybe you like the Rider-Waite or some other deck. That's fine. But once you learn how to see meaning in the cards, Five of Swords is Five of Swords. Doesn't make any difference what deck you're using. And so I think that that's important. What I do in my books is I always show a traditional meaning, 2 or 3 sentence type of meaning, like most other sources will do. But then I also like to throw keywords in there. Because more than likely, if you read traditional meanings about what the card means, you're going to sit back and say, okay, well, this card basically means whatever. And that'll be a keyword. You're going to be coming up with your own keywords anyway. And keywords allow you to expand the range of meaning than sentence definitions of what the card means. And in my books, well, Essential Tarot and Bare Bones. Bare Bones Tarot, I have 20 keywords surrounding each card. And over here, I have a traditional meaning down below here. Over here. But then I have 20 words surrounding each card over here. So, and I do that for all the cards. I also have meanings from the 1980s and meanings from the 1960s here. So you got today's meanings, 1980s, 1960s. I threw that in there just for grins. I used my Marseille deck in Bare Bones Tarot. Essential Tarot, I have the same meanings. And I use the Rider-Waite deck. So if you like the Rider-Waite, I also show the 1JJ Swiss down here on each card too, in case you like to see that. So on one side, you have traditional meanings over here. And on this side, you have 20 keywords surrounding the card. Well, what keywords do, I did the same with Radical, but I watered it down with Radical. I made it a more shorter version of the same thing. And I made it sort of artsy looking. But what keywords do is if you're using keywords, if you have just one keyword, and if you buy my deck, you'll get a little card in there showing the keyword meanings of keywords of each card too. If you're using keywords, your way of seeing those keywords, or if you have a keyword for a card, how you interpret that word. Well, this word could also mean this, or this word could also mean that. You'll find you have a range, like I did in those books. Word means change. This keyword, this card means change. Here's 20 words that can be associated with change. But what's interesting with keywords is that those 20 words, it's not like that's all there is. If you take any of those 20 words and take that as a keyword, you'll find 20 words that will work with that keyword. If you take one of those 20 words and make that a keyword. You'll find all sorts of words that'll work with that. So this will indefinitely go forever. And so your meaning of your card really encompasses everything. Because eventually, if you use one keyword, Michael Gelb, I think, said that in How to Think Like Leonardo da Vinci, a book of his, Creative Consultant. I think he says if you use one keyword, eventually, if you just keep expanding meaning to it, this word can mean this word can mean that word can mean this, eventually you'll connect everything there is in the world. So they're all connected, and all the cards are connected. And your mind will just keep on drifting to new words. And when you're doing a reading, you have a situation you're reading about, you take that keyword of that card and you'll drift it to something meaningful to that reading you're doing. In that position it's laid into. And it happens quickly. Because the more you do it, the better you get at it. And that's when you start reading fluently. You're just talking. You're throwing those cards down. And keywords really have a way of showing a range on things. I'm going to show some keywords here with this deck. This deck of cards I made is called Tarot Marseille Keyword Edition by Pitisci. And it's available on my international store in my website. I'll put a link down below to it if you're interested. And instead of using the books, I have 20 keywords around each card here. Again, I'm using my Marseille deck. This is my Black Keys edition, actually. So here's the Hermit. And there's 20 keywords around the Hermit there showing things that the Hermit could mean. Devil. And so on. And each one of these cards has 20 keywords around it. So looking at the card in a glance, and they're big enough, like I said, these are bigger than the Marseille deck. So the words are easy to read, and the card is very easy to see too. But it allows you to see a lot of ideas for the card. So it can come in real handy. Tarot Marseille Keywords Edition by Pitisci. Available at tarotmaps.com. There'll be a link below. But keywords really do help a lot because they allow you to see, instead of memorizing what I'm saying the card means, I give you a keyword and just say, this card means this. It means completion. It means options. It means choices. It means creativity. Whatever it happens to be. It means confidence. And you'll veer off with that word, drifting it into other words that mean basically the same thing, or be connected to it in some way, into another word, into another word, into another word. You'll do that in a matter of a second or two until it's something that really fits well with the reading and the other cards around it. And it really makes it look like everything fits together that way. And it does. But you'll start to see things start to fit real well with that. So I'm going to show a couple of the cards here and show how that works. So here on my deck, we have the Page of Cups. And you see the words around it: creative expression, new interests, free moving, changeable, artistic talent, radical shift, diversity, imagination, open-minded, transforming, new approach, blind faith, original, reshaped, vast possibilities, alteration, a hunch, testing, instinctive, and spontaneous. Those are all words I think would represent the Page of Cups. So here again, we have the Four of Pentacles. Pages represent a new path, new beginning. Fours represent stability to me. That's the first key word there is with the fours. Stability. And if you look at your Rider-Waite deck, you'll see the fours they're very peaceful looking. They're very stable. They're very calm. I use the key word for fours as stability for this. And so here we have played straight, safe, conditions, rigid, conforming, peace of mind, calm, serene, solitude, anticipated, predictable, timely, reliable, obliging, dependable, specific, routine, quiet, scheduled, unquestioned. There's the Five of Swords. Change of plans. Fives represent change, which is why in a Rider-Waite deck, the fives look kind of disturbing. Usually a change is something disruptive. It's disruptive to the piece, to the very stable fours, which are very calm. Now something's changed, and we've gone into the fives, which are changed here. And usually that's seen as a disturbing thing, disruptive. But here we have change of plans, resistance, commotion, disruption, confrontation, negotiation, differences, debate, discussion, conflicting views, unexpected, surprise, rejection, arguments, uncooperative, tension, stalled, opposition, unprepared, disagreements, change. Here we have queens. Queens represent patience and understanding. So here we have the decision maker with the queens. Responsibility, tolerance, authority, influential, high ranking, respected, status, promoting, appointed position, fairness, equal, grounded, balanced, respected, trusting, consistent, structured, graceful, understood, patience and understanding. Key word for the queens. What's nice about keywords is I can look at these fives here in the Five of Swords and say, well, change. And a deck like the Rider-Waite, and a lot of other decks that follow the Rider-Waite, will show a disturbing looking picture. Because nobody likes change. But sometimes you're looking for change. Sometimes that's why you're coming for a reading, is you want to make a change. So changes can be welcome. They could be something very good, something you want. You want something to change. And fours, here we have the Four of Pentacles. Fours being stability, usually are considered something nice and safe. They're stable. They're calm. But stability could also mean stagnant. Could also mean in a rut, stuck in a rut. There's no change happening here. Lots of times people come for a reading because they want to make a change. They're stuck in a rut here. They're stuck in a situation that they can't get out of, and that's stable. Now, is that a pleasing thing? Not at all. They want the change of the fives. So what's nice about keywords, it allows the card to have range to encompass those types of change as well, or that kind of stability as well. And see it right away in your reading, depending on what you're looking into. Maybe you want to stabilize things. Maybe you're all over the road right now, and you want to get a grip on things and get things stable. If card comes up, it shows it's a reminder that that's what you're trying to do. Maybe you're bored. Maybe you want to see change. You're stuck in a rut. You can't get out of it, and you feel like you're not going anywhere. That's a 4-2. Same card, starting with stability. That's why keywords are valuable. And I have the same thing for the Major Arcana. Usually in a reading, you have to bring it down to a level of worldly concerns, but they're usually a bigger picture type of a meaning, the majors. So I see the High Priestess as mysterious. And that's actually one of the key words here. We got secretive, mystery, mystical, dreams, deeper understanding, hidden, silence, stillness, all-knowing, higher self, virtuous, uncharted, truth, timeless, unrevealed, intuitive, wisdom, premonition, receptive, higher knowledge. These are all things that can be seen as represented by the High Priestess. And again, you could keep going with this. If you had room on the page of a book or anywhere else, you could just keep this map going with more words. What's keywords for secretive? What's keywords for virtuous? Intuitive. And then those keywords surrounding intuitive, what keywords would be for each one of them? And this will just go on indefinitely. So you have an unlimited amount of range of what's coming into your mind about how to see the meanings of these cards if you use keyword meanings. Keyword meanings are used a lot with creative consultants. They see the range, the value that has. The more you define something, the more limited it becomes. Keyword allows you to explore ideas of what the range, of what the word can mean. It broadens your vision. It also allows you to open up to your intuitive side because you're using your imagination, your right brain thinking, and that's your key area for your intuition as well. So it opens that door up as well. So again, if you're using keywords, you'll see that it makes no difference what deck you're using. And I teach this way, and it's worked out very well. I've taught this way for many, many years. People will always bring up a few cards that they don't see the correlation with. I'll bring them up here. Okay, I don't have a Rider-Waite deck here with me to show up on screen. But if you're using a Rider-Waite deck, the 8, 9, 10 of swords, and I've mentioned this in other YouTubes, show a very disturbing kind of looking cards. The 8 of swords on a Rider-Waite deck, the woman's bound and blindfolded with 8 swords surrounding her. Now, 8s to me are attainment. Oh no, advancement. 8s are advancing. Now, if you look at the other 8s, they look like they could very well be an advancement with the Rider-Waite. And you look at the Rider-Waite and you'll say, well, this is advancement. But if you're using keywords and you're thinking of the word advancement, and then you look at that Rider-Waite deck and you see advancement, you can see that, well, advancement is something that needs to be done. It's clear. So advancement is still the issue. Here we have a lack of advancement, something holding you back, something restraining you from advancing, but advancement is still the key here. We need to find ways to break those bonds. But advancement is one of the ways of seeing advancement. Advancement is an issue here, a lack of, but we're still using advancement. Advancement can be seen in a lot of ways. The picture on the Rider-Waite deck shows a bound woman, but the issue is still advancement there. So here I have sharp focus, submission, which it could be with the Rider-Waite decks there. Limitations, the same thing. Idleness, weak position, Rider-Waite deck. Slipping through, searching, cautious, precision, a breakthrough. Advancement, clearly seen. Intuition, insight, direction, inner vision, accuracy, immobile, loose ends, flawed, underestimated. These are advancements or issues that would limit advancement. They're both in here. On my 9 of swords, the Rider-Waite deck has a woman weeping in bed in the middle of the night. 9s are attainment to me. All 9s are attainment to me. So people will say, well, how do you see that as attainment? A woman weeping in bed in the middle of the night. Well, that's one attainment, an attainment of a sad truth, coming to terms with things, coming out of denial. Those are attainments. But there's many, many attainments, all sorts of different attainments you could have. The picture can only show one. A Marseille deck, I like that because it can show, it's unlimited. A picture can only show one attainment. Here, that woman has attained an awareness that wasn't very pleasant. Some attainments are wonderful things. Clear focus, communication, courage, firm action, seeing clearly, altercations, forgiveness, action taken, sad truth, steadiness, resolve, perseverance, courage. And lastly, I'm going to show the 10 of Swords on this deck. Incidentally, like I said, these same keywords are in my books that I showed earlier, Essential Tarot and Bare Bones Tarot. 10s are completion to me. By the way, when I say keywords for the minor arcana, that keyword works for all the suits. So there's only 14 keyword meanings for the minor arcana in my way of teaching. All 10s mean completion. All 9s mean attainment. All 8s mean advancement. And this moves on. So instead of 56 words, you have 14. And this works out very well. If you want to throw the suit in afterwards to fine-tune something, you can. It's not necessary though. So my keyword for 10s is a completion. In the Rider-Waite deck, we have a completion of a man laying in the mud, face down with 10 swords in his back. Completion. Here we have known experience, remembered, moving on, connected, accomplished, improvement, transition, totality, adjustment, new understanding, reflection, at peace, closure, fulfilled, starting over, in place, ending, released, completed cycle, ending. We're showing an ending on that card. But look at all the other things that a completion can be. A completion will bring reflection. It brings closure. It makes things at peace. It's a known experience that you've had. You've completed it, remembered. You're moving on from one cycle to another. Accomplished. You've accomplished something. A completion is an improvement. It's also a transition. It's an adjustment. It's a new understanding. It's a totality. It's also an ending. The keywords allow you to have a range of meaning, ideas coming into your head that allow you to fit the meaning of the card into that reading very well with valuable information that will help your client. Keywords are good things to have, good things to use. And they work well, and they're endless, really. Keywords allow you to have endless meaning for the card. And the more you use keyword meanings, the more that they just fan out. You just, bam, like that. They just come to you. And you'll start to see things all fitting together because the word is now flexible to fit with that position over there and that card over there. Because you can bend these and make them all fit now because they have flexible ability to them. They have a broader range of vision. This helps your readings, and it will expand your vision on what the cards mean. I'll put a link below to this deck if you're interested in it. Tarot Marseille by Pitisci, Keywords Edition. 20 keywords surrounding each card. So if you're learning the cards, this is a very good good deck to have. Also in there is that quick reference list I was talking about. Minor Arcanas, Ace through King. The 4 suit meanings down below. Major Arcana, 0 through 22. Keywords for each on both sides. I also have my Celtic Cross card. Meanings on the back. So, well, it's a good deck. I made it. That's why I think it's a good deck. Anyway, keywords help broaden your meanings of your cards. They're also easy to learn, and you'll have unlimited meanings of those cards if you use them, and it also helps you fit one card to another. And you put all these meanings, all these cards together to come up with some type of message, it works out very well. I'll also put links to my two YouTube's tarot card meanings, part 1, the Minor Arcana, and tarot part meanings, part 2, the Major Arcana. 2 more YouTubes down here that you might find helpful as I talk how the Rider-Waite deck with that shows those images, show the keywords, and how we take things from ace to 10 on everything we're doing. It's a sequence of things. Aces are a new idea. 2s are the option, the choice to take that new idea. 3s are creating the idea. 4s are stabilizing it. And 5s are when something changes about it. And 6s are overcoming those changes and making it even better. 7s are the confidence you gain from it and believing in its strength. 8s are attaining a more completed goal than what you had originally, something even more than what you were thinking of initially with the ace. 9s are attaining the whole thing completed or attaining it. And 10s are everything comes to an end. So when it comes to an end is a 10. It's a completed job, completed goal, a completed quest. Now you can look back at it and reflect. Court cards are pages are new paths. Knights are action. Queens are patience and understanding. And kings are knowledge. It's as simple and as confusing as that. Keep throwing cards. We'll talk soon.